Hi everyone, I'm coming to you from the JR Hamamatsucho station, mainly because I'm actually on my way to Haneda International Airport and I have to take the Tokyo monorail from here. Now I was actually here earlier in the day, mainly because I left my luggage at a coin locker and I'm on my way to retrieve it. Now I consider myself to be very lucky that at 8:30 in the morning I was able to find an empty coin locker, because these coin lockers, they get filled very early in the day. And as you guys can see right now, I'm actually using my IC card to open my coin locker because this is what I used to activate it earlier. Now these coin lockers are actually a very effective way wherein you can leave your luggage or heavy backpacks if you have last minute tours to do in Tokyo before you fly out of the country. Okay, so right now I am about to exit the JR Hamamatsucho station and transfer to the Tokyo monorail. So as you guys can see, at the time that I am taking this video, there are a lot of construction going on. So make sure that you read the signs properly so that you can be guided accordingly, because if you don't read the signs, you can get lost easily in train stations here in Japan. But also one other thing, I do have to say though that if you get lost, look on the floor, because they're actually floor guides that can take you to the right platform. Okay, so right now I am heading to the escalator to my platform, wherein I'm going to take the express train of the Tokyo monorail to take me to Haneda, and I am just right on time. So 18 minutes later, I found myself at the train station of Haneda International Airport Terminal 2, but it's on the second basement. So I actually have to go 4 floors up to get myself to the departure lobby, which is located on the second floor. Now, when I got here, I was actually surprised to see how bright and airy it was. Now, by the way, this is my first time here and I am loving what I am seeing. Now, I am actually on my way to drop off my baggage for my domestic flights on all Nippon Airways. So it's actually my first time to do this bag drop of theirs. And also, one other thing, by the way, I have already done my online check-in and I did it through the All Nippon Airways app, and it was actually very easy and very effective. Now, after following the prompt here on the machine for the baggage drop, you will actually receive a receipt, and this is what you will keep just in case my baggage will not arrive in my destination. Now, before going through security, I decided to explore the terminal building because I'm rarely here at Haneda International Airport Terminal 2. Now, I do have to say there are a lot of shops here and there are a lot of restaurants, so you won't get bored or you won't go hungry. Now, I found myself in the middle of the terminal building, mainly because I actually saw signs there's actually an observation deck here. And if there's one thing you have to know about me, is that I actually love plane spotting when I am in the airport. And I do have to say that the plane spotting area here of Haneda International Airport Terminal 2 is one of the best plane spotting areas that I have ever been in an airport. Can you guys see how amazing this view is? It's unobstructed, so I actually love it. And also I think this part of the observation deck is actually air conditioned, so it's actually very comfortable. So as you guys can see, a lot of the All Nippon Airways planes are actually here. One is just arriving and I believe it's about to park into its gate, and as you guys can see there right now, it's about to take off. That's actually the Star Wars livery painted on this All Nippon Airways airplane. How cool is that? Okay, let's just see until it actually takes off. How cool. And oh, the livery on this All Nippon Airways aircraft here is in green, so I believe this must be a special type of livery for that plane. Okay, so right now I am at the open air observation deck of the airport, and I have to say it's quite hot at the moment because the sun is out. But I'm sure in the evening this would be a very pleasant experience. So I love being here, maybe because I can hear the roaring of the engines of the plane. So it gives me a very different type of sensory experience. And the reason why I love plane spotting is because I actually had a childhood dream of becoming a pilot. So this is my happy place. Okay, so right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into the terminal. I'm going to go find lunch. And after I have gone through security, I'm going to check back right at you. Okay, so I just got through security and I actually received this yellow piece of paper with my boarding gate and my boarding group number. So I was actually quite surprised to receive this after I scanned my QR code on the scanner when I entered through security, because all of the information on this yellow piece of paper is actually on my boarding pass, which is on my phone, or even on my All Nippon Airways app. But anyway, so I just decided to keep it. So here I am walking through the airport finding my boarding gate, because like everybody else, I actually like to know where my boarding gate is before I start roaming around and exploring the airport. So I have found that my boarding gate 505, is located like one floor down, and it is a bus lounge. So I believe I'm going to have to take the bus to my aircraft later. So seeing where I am supposed to be and seeing that I don't like the ambience here because it's actually very dim and dark and I'm feeling a little bit claustrophobic, I decided to take this opportunity to go upstairs and hang out in another gate just so I can also enjoy plane spotting. So just as I was walking away, I actually received an alert on my iPhone, and when I checked it, my boarding pass for my flight actually popped out, and there was an indication there that my gate number has changed. And simultaneously, I actually received a text message through my Viber app, and it was also from All Nippon Airways, and it was actually stated there that my boarding gate was now boarding gate number 59. And I found this to be very remarkable because this is a very effective and efficient way of actually disseminating the right information to your passengers for any changes on their upcoming flights. And mind you, this is the only time that I have experienced this, so kudos to All Nippon Airways for this. This is highly effective. So here I am at boarding gate number 59, plane spotting while waiting for boarding. Okay, so boarding has now commenced, and I was actually quite surprised to be given another piece of paper after I scanned my boarding pass on the QR code scanner. So I decided to keep it because I'm not sure if somebody's going to get this from me or not a little bit later on the flight. So my flight, by the way, today is ANA 637, a domestic flight from Haneda International Airport bound for Iwakuni Kintaikyo Airport. So at this point, I am now about to enter the aircraft, and I actually have the two pieces of paper that I received on hand with me because I was thinking that somebody might get this from me as I enter the aircraft. But I was actually pleasantly surprised when nobody actually got the papers, and I actually received earphones instead when I entered. But anyway, so I have noticed as I entered the aircraft that there's a business class here, and the rest is actually economy. So my seat is at 14A, which is a window seat, and that is the seat that I have here. And if there's one thing I need to say off the bat, this is one of the most comfortable seats that I have ever sat on inside an aircraft. So kudos to you, All Nippon Airways, for that. So as you guys can see, I have so much space here. Look at my leg space. And I'm only 5 foot 8.5 inches tall, so if you are taller, this might be more comfortable for you. And although there are no individual entertainment systems on the seat, I'm actually quite surprised to see why there are buttons here. I'll find out later in the flight, but if there's anything that's important, I see charging ports here for my phone, so yes, I appreciate that. So boarding is still actually ongoing, so I'm going to take this opportunity to see the other things that I can discover while seated on my seat. So I have the safety instruction card here for my aircraft, and today I am riding on an Airbus A321. I always make sure to check the safety instruction card because I really like to know where my emergency exits are just in case, okay? And I have also noticed that this aircraft has Wi-Fi, so I'm going to check that out as soon as we hit altitude later. And the other thing that I have noticed as well is that this aircraft has individual air vents, which is actually perfect because this can be very helpful in regulating the temperature inside the plane. And also we have here my tray table, which is in great condition, and I'm surprised to see a hole here for the cups, and I'm thinking that this is actually quite effective, if you know what I mean, because you don't have to worry about spilling anything. Now, by the way, the security certificate and the boarding certificate that I got, nobody collected them. So I believe this is just a record for me to keep, just to show that in case if I am questioned, that I actually went through the proper security screening and the proper process for boarding. So pushback of the aircraft started at 5:15 in the afternoon, which meant that this flight is actually flying out on time. So kudos to you all Nippon Airways for this. Now, while the aircraft is taxiing its way to its departure runway, let me talk to you guys about a certain observation that I have made with the boarding process of this flight. So I have noticed that there are 5 boarding groups on this flight, and boarding group number 1 and boarding group number 2 are for those who actually who are traveling with young kids and infants or even the elderly, or for those who belongs to business class or to those who have a higher tier on their mileage membership program. Now, boarding group number 3, my boarding group, actually are for people who belongs to the window seat. Boarding group number 4 are for those who belongs to the middle seat, and boarding group number 5 is actually for those who belong to the aisle seat. So I was actually very mind blown by this boarding process because it's actually very effective and very orderly. So again, kudos to you all Nippon Airways for this, and I think this might have been their boarding process for a long time now, but I have never observed it up until this flight. And the other thing that I have also observed because of this flight is that Haneda International Airport is actually a very big airport. It actually takes a while to taxi from the terminal all the way to the departure runway, and I'm actually very surprised by this. But the av geek in me is actually enjoying this because I enjoy seeing all the planes come in and out and seeing all these airplanes parked in specific areas of the terminal. It's actually great for me. So before we take off, let me discuss with you guys the ways and means that I paid for this flight. So this was a purely rewards ticket wherein I actually paid a total of 30,000 air miles for my round trip ticket from Haneda to Iwakuni Kintaikyo Airport and back. And the only out of pocket that I paid for were the taxes amounting to 740 yen. So it's really not that expensive. Now, I actually booked this flight back in March at the time when my air miles was actually expiring. And although I don't fly with all Nippon Airways all the time, every time I fly out with their partner airlines, I always make sure that I collect air miles and have it sent to my all Nippon Airways mileage account. Okay, so at this point, I believe we are almost at our departure runway. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna keep quiet and I'm gonna put some music on so that we can enjoy the scenes as we get airborne and head for Iwakuni Kintaikyo Airport. A few minutes after we hit altitude, drinking service commenced. Now, being that this is my first domestic flight in Japan ever, I decided to do some research and I found out that there is actually no meal service on domestic flights here in Japan, which is actually understandable, especially if flights between two routes are short. But if you're someone who gets hungry in flight, you can always buy food at cafes or at vending machines at the airport and always bring it on air with you. Now, the other thing that's remarkable with this flight, it was actually the crew. They were so amazing. They were very courteous. They were very polite. And every time I was engaging with them, they were always smiling. And I really like seeing that in a crew. So right now, I'm just having a cup of coffee, mainly because I need to stay alert. Because by the time that I arrived at Iwakuni Kintaikyo Airport, it's gonna be a rush for me because I have to find my way to Iwakuni Station to catch my local train to Hiroshima. At this point, I decided to check the in-flight Wi-Fi to see if it was working, and the only way that you can connect to the Wi-Fi itself is actually through the All Nippon Airways app. So make sure that you download the app and then you key in all of your details, especially if you're part of their mileage program, so that you'll be able to connect to the Wi-Fi service. Now, the Wi-Fi worked great. I was able to go to Facebook. I was able to go to Instagram. The only thing that I was not able to do was actually to play videos on YouTube, because after all, videos have a very heavy bandwidth. Around the same time that I was tinkering with the in-flight Wi-Fi, I saw a fellow passenger, and he really caught my attention because he was bobbing his head and he was just having some earphones on. And when I saw where his earphones were connected, it was actually connected to the armrest. My curiosity got the best out of me and I decided to follow suit. And soon enough, I discovered that there is actually an in-flight radio station on the plane, and I was actually very pleasantly surprised with the kind of music that they were playing. So I actually spent the rest of my flight listening to this radio station, and I enjoyed the Japanese music that they were actually playing. Now, this flight is actually not full. There are a lot of empty seats. Now, the middle and the aisle seat on my row was actually empty, so I had the entire row to myself, which was actually a luxury. That's why I was able to move freely and to vlog freely. So I really enjoyed this time to myself. Now, one thing, by the way, if in the future you do decide to fly this route from Haneda to Iwakuni, do not choose the window seat on the port side, like where you have the letter A window seats, but choose the window seats on the starboard side with the letter K, because that way you'll be able to see Mount Fuji as you fly along. Okay, it's bathroom check time, and this is the bathroom, which is located at the very back of the plane. And when I say back, think tail, because usually the bathrooms at this part of the airplane are slightly curved because of the design of the fuselage, but with this one it has actually a lot of head space. So if you're someone who is very tall, this is the perfect toilet for you to use on this type of aircraft on All Nippon Airways. And I have to say, the bathroom stayed clean the entire flight. It was such a pleasure to use this toilet. Okay, I'm gonna head back to my seat now because we are about to land at Iwakuni Kintaikyo Airport. Alright, you guys, I have just deplaned and I am now at Iwakuni Kintaikyo Airport in Yamaguchi Prefecture. And if you're wondering why I don't have any landing videos, the main reason why is because this airport actually shares the runway with the American Air Base, so taking of videos and photos are actually discouraged. At this point of the video, I'm a little bit nervous because I actually need to catch the 7:05 p.m. bus from Iwakuni Kintaikyo Airport to Iwakuni Station. Even if we arrived at 6:53 p.m., a little bit earlier than scheduled, if I miss the 7:05 p.m. bus, the next bus is scheduled to be at 9:50 p.m. Although it's possible to walk, I have done enough walking in Tokyo at this point, so that's why you can see me rushing with my luggage to the exit, because it's already 7:03 in the evening and I do not want to miss that bus. Now, lucky for me, I can see the bus from the exit, and I'm so glad that I was actually able to make it. And after a 57-minute local train ride, I have arrived at Hiroshima, and my Fude Matsuri celebrations is about to begin. Alright, so that's it for me today. I hope that you guys enjoyed flying with me. If you have any more questions about my experience flying on All Nippon Airways domestically, please let me know down in the comments box and let's have a conversation about it. Alright, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here. I hope that you're having a good day wherever you are. Bye!